On tonight's Gwinnett Prep Rally, the region basketball tournaments took place last week, so which teams are going home and who made the final 32 with a shot for a state title? In Region 8, the boys and girls defending champs were looking for repeat performances, and things would get off to a great start for the Berkmar Patriots and the Brookwood Lady Broncos in their opening round matchups. In Region 7, the Norcross boys have been a dominant force over the past several years, but don't tell that to the Peachtree Ridge Lions, who have title aspirations of their own. On the girls' side, North Gwinnett hasn't won a region title since the Kennedy administration, but they could take one step closer with a semifinal win over Duluth. There's no arguing the GPR shows the most love to your favorite basketball teams around Gwinnett County, and it starts right now.
For more than 15 years, your source for Gwinnett County sports is Gwinnett Prep Rally.
Hello and welcome to your county's original high school sports television program. This is Gwinnett Prep Rally, now in its 19th season, and we can be seen exclusively here on GCPS TV for the entire 2011-2012 school year. I'm Todd Klein alongside Will Hammock from the Gwinnett Daily Post. And Will, 2012 Wrestling State Championships took place this past weekend, and we had several individuals from Gwinnett County win state titles, as well as a team take the overall title.
Yeah, it was another successful year all the way around. It was a well-attended event once again, and a lot of success for teams and individuals, and maybe none more so than Ryan Mosley of Shiloh. Just put together an incredibly dominating season. Finished 59-0 to win the 138-pound state title. Really swept every tournament he was in this year. He never even allowed a takedown or a reversal all season. Shiloh's first state champion since 2000. Over at Brookwood, Blake Cunningham won the 285-pound title. He finished 50-0. He's a pretty good football player, but also an outstanding wrestler. He broke a serious drought for Brookwood. Brookwood hadn't had a title since 1995. And Ernest Alexander at Archer's first wrestling state champion, 195 pounds, won 67 matches this year, 67-4. He's a kid that just started wrestling 2 years ago. Collinsville produced four champions: Sean Russell, Ryan Milhoff, Drew Ferguson Mitchell, Stephen Brattmuller, all excellent individual champions for Collinsville. And then you look at the team standings. Collinsville did it once again, their fifth straight championship. In the traditional side, just a dominant program over there at Collinsville, and they kept it rolling once again.
Well, congratulations to the Collinsville team and to all those individuals who took home state titles. Well, let's get right to the basketball highlights, and we start off with the girls' semifinal matchup in the Region 7 tournament, featuring the overall #1 seeded North Gwinnett Lady Bulldogs taking on the Duluth Lady Wildcats. GPR's Chase Watson has more.
It wouldn't be easy for either team in this one. Duluth decides to leave Lexi Brown unguarded here, and she buries the open jumper, giving the Lady Bulldogs the quick 2-0 lead. The Lady Wildcats answer as Tajay Pearson misfires on the jump shot, but Joy Jones is there on cleanup duty. She puts it in, and Duluth leads 7-5. Bailey Rexing skips the quick pass down low to Peyton Whitted, who puts a nice post move on the defender and gets the left hand to work. 20-14 North Gwinnett. Pearson gets into the lane and tries the right hand. It doesn't go, but she cleans up her own mess, pulling the Wildcats to within 2 in the second quarter. Jordan Hyatt's shot is off the mark, but Whitted snags the rebound and gets the putback to fall, and the Lady Bulldogs hold on to a 4-point third quarter lead. Joy Jones slings the pass to Ariel Carruthers, who uses the quick step to get open and nails the long two-pointer to cut the lead to 2 late in the third. Early in the fourth, Regina Howard dumps it to Jones, who loses the handle but regains control and sinks the baseline jumper to give Duluth the lead 33-31. On the fast break, Brown gets the assist to Whitted in stride. She gets the easy layup to cut the Lady Wildcat lead to 1. Then off the inbound pass, Pearson gets a quick layup. Duluth hangs on to a 2-point fourth quarter lead, 46-44. The play of the game would come here, though. Ariel Johnson sends the ball to Lexi Brown. She puts the nice move on the defender and puts it up and in, giving North Gwinnett a 1-point lead. Then she snags the inbound pass and gets the easy layup, making it a 3-point game with time winding down. And Brown, who was so dominant, puts this one away here, blowing by the defense. North Gwinnett gets the win, 55-51.
Well, Will, a tough win there for North Gwinnett. They did get a nice low victory over Duluth, although they fell a little short in the finals against their nemesis, Norcross.
Yeah, Duluth really tested them in this game. A great effort by Duluth. They've had a great season. Kind of an underrated team around here in Gwinnett County, but like you said, North Gwinnett, a good win for them here. Lexi Brown really made some plays late and just ran out of energy there against Norcross in the finals. Norcross turned it on late and won the region championship.
And Lexi Brown are talking about moving on to Norcross. Like you said, Norcross ends up getting Diamond DeShields back. They end up getting the region title. Is Norcross ready to make a big-time run to win another state title?
I think Norcross is. They got Diamond back. She's ready to play hard, and she's playing through some pain, through an injury, and I think she's an excellent ball player, obviously, but also a tough kid who's willing to do that for her team. And Lexi Brown, even her in this game, she's had mono lately. She's not quite to 100%, but still she's a very much an impact player, and she's going to mean a lot to North.
Time now to turn our attention to Region 8, where the Brookwood Lady Broncos were looking to make it back-to-back region titles, but they would have to get by a tough Dacula squad in the opening round matchup. GPR's Nathan Shutter has the call.
Brookwood looking to avoid the upset against Dacula in the first round of the Region 8 tournament. Courtney Gardner taking it past 2 defenders and all the way to the rack to put Brookwood up 2-0 early. Dacula now on the offensive. The first shot is off the mark, but Anna Makovic is there for the board and stick back. Falcons only down by 1. Rachel Hellwig with a bullet pass to Shantice Butler. She knocks down the turnaround jumper to put the Broncos up by 5. Then it's Aaliyah Jackson kicking it out to a wide open Courtney Erickson, and she buries the 3. Brookwood up 20-4 after 1 quarter of play. In the second, Dacula trying to get something going. First shot is no good, but Kendall Culpepper is Johnny on the spot to cut the lead to 14. Broncos on the fast break. Gardner, she gets the bucket and the foul to put Brookwood up 23-6. Then it's Nia Currian finding Rebecca Walker all alone in the corner, and she knocks down the triple. Broncos in complete control up 38-13 at the break. Second half and more of the same. The three-point attempt is off the mark, but Courtney Gardner is there for the offensive board and banks it in off glass. Brookwood up 55-28 through 3 quarters. In the fourth, the Broncos would close things out. Nicole Plasted to Rebecca Walker, and she dials another one up from long distance. That pushed the lead to 30. Then it's Gardner with a long pass ahead to Walker. She lays it in with ease, and Brookwood clinches their spot in the state playoffs with a 71-36 win over Dacula.
Well, Will, this was an elimination game. Brookwood wasted no time showing they were very serious in this one. They end up getting a spot in the state tournament and then ultimately become the number 2 seed out of Region 8.
Yeah, great game. I mean, this is always a tough game to play, that elimination game. Even if you're favored to win, it's a lot of nerves going in there. You want to win that one and keep going. And Brookwood showed a lot of courage, a lot of guts just to play their game right here, not get too nervous. It clicked from the start. I think that if Rebecca Walker and Courtney Gardner are getting touches on offense, Brookwood's a pretty good basketball team.
And like we said, Brookwood went on to lose to Parkview in the region finals. Parkview stays undefeated. For Brookwood, though, it doesn't get any easier. Their first-round state matchup, they have to play Mill Creek, a very talented Mill Creek team.
Yeah, I think anybody from Region 8, any of those girls' teams are going to have their hands full with Region 7. Region 7's so strong on the girls' side, and Brookwood's definitely in that boat. They're going to have a tough task with Mill Creek, a Mill Creek team that just beat Duluth by 25 points in the third-place game over there. So it's going to be a tough test for Brookwood. I really think Mill Creek's going to beat them in this game.
Time now to recap other girls basketball action from the region tournaments. It's brought to you by Breda Pest Management. We begin with the Parkview Lady Panthers, the undefeated Parkview Lady Panthers.
Yeah, they finished off a undefeated regular season here and running through the region tournament. Brookwood gave them a little bit of a test there in the finals. Parkview had a tough time shooting early in this game, but really turned it on late. Erica Joseph had 15. Just overall, that team plays so well, plays so hard on defense, and they're so deep, they really just can take it to you a lot deeper than Brookwood, and I think that was the difference.
And then we talked about them earlier. Norcross has Diamond DeShields back and a little bit of their swagger back.
Yeah, she had 31 in their semifinal win, scored another 24 here. She's kind of getting more comfortable with that left wrist being a little weak. It's not her shooting hand, so it doesn't affect her completely, but dribbling and things like that and even playing defense, she's getting more comfortable, playing a little harder, getting some contact.
And then it's hard to believe, Will, you might have lost a lot of bets on this one had you bet that Wesleyan would win or would lose this game, but they did. St. Francis wins the region title with a big upset over Wesleyan.
Yeah, well, St. Francis had lost 12 times in a row to Wesleyan, never beaten Wesleyan until this one, so I think this is going to end up serving as a pretty good wake-up call and for the Wesleyan girls, knowing that they can't cruise through Class A. They're going to have to play their best basketball to beat St. Francis.
Well, moving back to Class 5A, Will, going back and talking a little bit about those Parkview Lady Panthers. It's hard to figure out exactly what they are. They are undefeated. I think we can all agree that Region 8 isn't as tough as Region 7 this year. But in the first round, Parkview will get a chance to show how good they are. But they're going to play a Duluth team that you said is playing some good basketball.
Yeah, Duluth has the talent to test them. They're very good inside. I don't know if they're as deep as Parkview, but I think talent-wise they match up pretty well if they play their best basketball. they can do really well. A lot of it's going to depend on Duluth's Katie Powell. She got hurt there in the third place game. If she's back, then they can give them a battle. If they don't have her, Parkview might have a little bit easier time.
Well, let's turn our attention to the boys, and we start with the Region 7 semifinals between the defending state champion Norcross Blue Devils and the upset-minded Peachtree Ridge Lions. Chase Watson has all the action from Meadow Creek High School.
Peachtree Ridge looking to knock off the Blue Devils. First quarter action, Brandon Jack feeds the big man Jordan Copps, who uses the low post moves to get the bucket and give the Lions a 2-0 advantage. Norcross out and running, Miles Autry accelerates to the rack and gets the pretty floater to work to make it 5-4 Peachtree Ridge in the first. Ricky Madison drives hard to the paint and uses the spin move to get by, finishes with the left, and Norcross was charging. Cole Rives dishes it off to Brian McGowan, who buries the corner three ball to pull the Lions within one, 19-18 in the second quarter. Then Benny Johnson uses the filthy between the legs move and gets to the rim with the smooth kiss off the glass, and Peachtree Ridge retakes the lead before halftime. The Blue Devils were working hard. Miles Autry fights for the rebound and gets the fadeaway to drop to keep Norcross within striking distance, only down 7, 40-33. But the Lions would start to pull away. Cole Romagera fires the pass to Devon Hill, who calmly drains the triple to give Peachtree Ridge a 15-point advantage. And then some more ridiculous moves by Johnson, who gets the assist to Amir Warnock down low. He finishes with the easy bucket to make it a 17-point lead. Norcross refusing to quit. Derek Herbert penetrates and kicks out to Tyler Williams, who squares up and knocks down the tray, but it just wouldn't be enough on this evening. Rives sneaks the pass to the big fella Brandon Jack. He does the rest and gets the pretty finger roll here in the fourth. Lions up 57-42. And Jordan Copps ends this one with an exclamation mark, jamming it down with two hands, and Peachtree Ridge rolls to a huge win, 68-56 over Norcross.
Well, not just a nice win for Peachtree Ridge, but pretty much a dominant one over a Norcross team with a heck of a pedigree.
Yeah, this was a great effort by the Norcross guards in this one. Brandon Goodwin had a great game. Miles Autry did well, but really missed Harold Givens on the inside. And Peachtree Ridge is a team that's really kind of been the sleeper team in that region. I've said all along, there's a lot of talent on that team. Once they start putting it together, they're going to be able to play with anybody, and they showed that in this region tournament, beating Norcross and beating North Gwinnett. Just a great effort by the Lions.
And then let's talk about that, Will. They went on to beat North Gwinnett in the region title game, and like you said all along, this was a region that was pretty deep. Peachtree Ridge showed that. Where do they go from here? They get through, they get the region title, but we all know that's not where you want to stop. Can Peachtree Ridge, do they have enough talent, and are they on enough of a roll to get something going in state?
I think they do. I mean, they have a lot of size, they have a lot of athletic ability, and they get after it on the defensive end. I think that really is a key. That's going to keep them in most ball games. They have a lot of guys on the offensive end that can score. They don't necessarily rely on one person. I really like Benny Johnson, the point guard. I think he's maybe the fastest player in Gwinnett County from end to end. He really gets it up and down the floor really fast, and is a good guy to spread the ball around in that offense.
Well, back to the highlights in a Region 8 battle between last year's tournament champion, the Berkmar Patriots, and their crosstown rival, the Parkview Panthers. Nathan Shutter has all the action from Snellville.
Berkmar taking on Parkview with a trip to the state tournament on the line. Patriots with the ball, and Yonel Brown finds Tim Rowe on the pick and roll, and he lays it in on the finger roll to tie the game at 2. Back come the Panthers. Javante Douglas kicks it over to a wide open TJ Thomas in the corner, and he drains the triple to give Parkview a 10-8 lead. Yonel Brown pushing it up the floor for Berkmar. He stops and gets both defenders in the air and calmly lays it in for the easy deuce to put the Patriots up by 3. Then it's Rowe with a nice feed to the cutting Tyler Rogers, and he throws it down with authority. Berkmar up 27-15 through 1 quarter of action. Second quarter, and Berkmar stepping up the defensive pressure. Adonai Rogers picks Douglas's pocket. He's heading the other way and finishes at the other end as Berkmar takes a 40-22 lead to the locker room. Second half, Panthers trying to cut into the lead. Javante Douglas drives, pulls up at the elbow, and banks in the 15-footer to cut the lead to 10. But Berkmar would answer right back. Brown pulls up just inside the arc and knocks down the long 2. Patriots head to the final frame up 47-33. Parkview will make things interesting in the fourth. Andre Chatfield making his presence felt by knocking down a step-back jumper over the defender. Panthers down 52-41. Then it's Chatfield again, spinning his way into the paint and hitting the fadeaway to cut the Berkmar lead to just 6 points. But the Patriots wouldn't let them get any closer. Parkview on the inbounds. The long pass is going to be picked off by C.J. Foster, and he takes it all the way for the bucket. and Berkmar holds off Parkview by a final of 67-56.
Well, maybe a little bit tougher than Berkmar would have cared for, Will, but they get the hard-fought win and advance.
Yeah, it's like we said earlier, tough game to win, and Berkmar took care of business in this one. A very good Berkmar basketball team. I can't say enough about the job Greg Phillips has done over there since he came over from Norcross. Really has Berkmar back to what they've been accustomed to doing the earlier part of this decade, winning region championships.
And like you said, they went on to win this second year in a row. They win the championship, and they beat a Shiloh team that has a big-time player and had the big-time seed, but Berkmar walks away as the region champ.
Yeah, Shiloh has that imposing front line with Robert Carter and Trayvon Reed, but really I think Berkmar had the edge in guard play going into that one, and that was a big key. Yonel Brown, Brandon Thompson are veteran players that have been around the program. And Big Tim Rowe inside for Berkmar had to have a big game too. He's really Berkmar's only significant height, so he had to have a good game against Shiloh, and he did.
Time now to recap other boys hoops action from the region tournaments. It's brought to you by Tommy Lee Carpets, and we begin with the GAC Spartans.
A great win for GAC. Everybody knows what they lost off last year's team. Malcolm Brogdon really did everything for them last year, but really don't have a go-to scorer this year, but they're spreading the wealth well. Colin Swinton had 16 points, 8 assists. He's become a playmaker for this team, but really don't have a go-to offensive scorer like they did in Malcolm Brogdon. So in the state tournament, that's going to be important to find a player that's going to step up and replace his load.
And then you talked about Region 7 being deep. Mill Creek is one of those teams. They beat Norcross for third place. They're going to have a tough game in the first round against Shiloh.
Yeah, I think you're going to see this team really challenge Shiloh in the first round, maybe even pull off an upset. It's a team that's really fit, gets up and down the court. Their three guards are as good as anybody. I really like those guys, Shaw, Bracey, and Evans there. They're outstanding players. And
then we talk about Wesleyan boys. They also lost to St. Francis. St. Francis having a big-time weekend against the Wesleyan teams.
Yeah, bumped Wesleyan into one of those prelim play-in games in Class A, but still a team that can go on a run if they get hot from three-point range. Shane Smith had 18 points and 14 boards in the loss here. He's a go-to offensive player. He's a guy that can really carry the team if he gets going, and if those three-pointers are going to, I think Wesleyan can look at a state tournament run.
Going back to GAC, Will, we haven't talked a lot about the Spartans this year. Like you said, individually, maybe they don't have quite as big time of players, but they do have a coach who's very experienced with winning in the state tournament. And how much is that going to make a difference as the Spartans get ready for the state playoffs?
I think it's a huge difference. I mean, Eddie Martin, we've talked about him for years, how many games he's done in the state tournament and done well. Even back at Brookwood back in the day when the teams that he didn't necessarily have the most talent, he had a very competitive team, maybe beat some teams he shouldn't have. And also another factor for this team, I mean, they've had a lot of state playoff runs, won a couple state championships back-to-back. So even though these kids hadn't been playing key roles, they've been a part of this playoff success, and they kind of expect it to happen.
Time now for Will's World. We put 60 seconds on the clock. We get into the mind of our very own Will Hammock, and it's brought to you by Nexstar Communications.
And we'll talk about one of the surprises of the Region 8 tournament. I don't think a lot of people expected Central Gwinnett to be coming out of the region, and they certainly did. Played great. David Allen's an outstanding basketball coach, and he's a guy that coached under Eddie Martin for a while, and he's really done great things at Central. I don't think any school has been hurt more by transfers over the years than Central Gwinnett. Lost a lot of top-notch talent, but year in and year out, David Allen just keeps winning basketball games, so kudos to him for getting them back to state. And Holly Wilkins is a girl we've talked about a lot over at Wesleyan. She's an outstanding player, and she's really become the go-to scorer. I mean, she's led Wesleyan in scoring the last 3 years, but really she stepped up her game this year because she's had to. Wesleyan's had needed points. She's been the one that they go to, and she's going to have to do that in the state tournament. They need her to play big, and so far she has, which is good to see. And talking a little football here, Rennie Curran recently signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's going to be back in the NFL this year. I fully expect him to make that roster and make an impact not only on special teams, on defense. He kind of got caught in a bad situation where there's a coaching change up there with the Titans after his rookie season. So he's a special teams player as a rookie, and then got cut by the new coaching staff right before the season, and it left him basically like an undrafted rookie free agent, and had to find his way back to the league this season.
Well, thank you once again to Nexstar Communications for sponsoring that. And Will, my question goes back to Central Gwinnett and David Allen. Like you said, a little bit of surprise that they're in the state tournament, but here they are. What are they going to have to do if they're going to pull another upset playing against North Gwinnett and Chris Bolden?
Yeah, they're pretty good guards. I mean, I think they can play with some folks if they get hot there, and they're always going to play outstanding defense. They're going to hustle and play hard. I mean, those are always trademarks of Coach Allen's teams. He's going to make sure that happens. And like we said, he's a very good, very experienced coach, so he's going to throw it all on the table there in the first round. It could be an interesting game.
Time now to focus on standout performances. So let's move on to this week's Building Blocks presented by Britt's Home Furnishing. And first up is Yonel Brown from Berkmar.
Yeah, the Region Player of the Year last year as a junior. He's getting it done again this year. 22 points and 4 assists in that win over Parkview. He's a guy that really stepped up his game in the postseason. He really wants to win a state playoff game. That's going to be a focus for him this week. He wants to win that state tournament game after they were upset last year in the first round, surprisingly. But I look for Berkmar to do very well at state.
Well, Parkview didn't get the win they wanted, but Andre Chatfield played very good against the Patriots.
He's a guy that really developed into a good scorer as the season went along. He was kind of the guy that was always in wins or losses, leading Parkview and on the offensive end. Had 22 points in this game against Berkmar, really kept Parkview in it and made Berkmar work for that victory. He's a guy that's got a pretty bright future because he can score the basketball so well, and I look forward to good things from him.
And we move over to the girls' side. Courtney Gardner had a big-time game for Brookwood.
Yeah, she and Rebecca Walker have both been outstanding players, but Courtney had a great game in that game against Dacula. 19 points, 16 boards, just game in and game out. She's been the most consistent offensive player. She also handles the ball so well that she plays a little point guard for Brookwood, and when she has to, really they ask her to do a lot, and she's stepped it up so far this season and has done it without problem.
Well, our thanks go out to Brits Home Furnishing for sponsoring our Players of the Week. And Will, who else played well last week that deserves mention?
We'll go back to the region champion Parkview girls basketball team, Marissa Mandeldove. She had a great game in the fourth quarter, helping them pull away against the rival Brookwood. She had 6 of her 11 points down the stretch, and that was big to help them pull away over the Broncos.
All right, we're out of time, but you can visit us online at GwinnettPrepRally.com for the world-famous message board and video highlights. And you can also keep up with GPR on Twitter and our Facebook fan page. So be sure to join us next week for more highlights and features on Gwinnett Prep Rally every Tuesday through Friday right here on GCPS TV. For Will Hammock and all of us here at GPR, I'm Todd Klein. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you under the lights.
Grab some wood there, bub.